Welcome to Calcast, your Create International podcast. God Network News, where we give you a new perspective
on events happening in our world today.
This is GNN.
This is God Network News, episode 177. Welcome, GNN fans, to another episode of God Network News, the podcast that tells you what God's doing around the world. Not what CNN tells you, but what GNN tells you is going on in the world. If you're tired of listening to all of that crisis network news and you want to hear what God's doing, well, give us a listen. Greetings to our faithful God Network News listeners. We are excited to bring you more great stories of movements that are happening amongst unreached people groups. Get ready for some fantastic stories of God's faithfulness, of God working even in this difficult time of COVID. So this brother that you're mentioning, this testimony, of him reaching many people. How many people would you, or how many Muslims would you say through his ministry that he has seen come to Jesus?
Yes, through him we have four villages wow. Where he's working, reaching, and we have 20 families which
wow.
has already came to the Lord through his ministry. And wow. when we say families here, one family, it's like
maybe 20 people.
10 to 20 people. So.
Yeah. That's good. That's wonderful. That's the way you want. You want people to come to the Lord in families, especially in a culture like that, because they take care of one another, and so they're not separated from their relationships. That's very important. Very important.
Yes,
wow.
I see that this is God moving, because in the beginning, we were struggling a lot. We just saw men coming along without their wives, without their kids, and they were suffering a lot. But now it's like something in the spiritual world has braked, and we now seeing families, villages, half of the village, people coming to the Lord. It's amazing. I see that this is a time God is revealing himself to the unreached people.
That's wonderful. Throughout the many years that my wife and I have been running this media ministry, we have had through the years different people saying those exact words that you just said, that God spoke to them. This is the time. This is the time. Yeah. So we know that when we hear those words, we know that God is speaking to us, that he's doing something, and he's wanting us to be involved. And it's pretty exciting. And it's exciting to me to hear that the Lord spoke those words to you, because it's when he does speak to you, then you can expect miracles to happen afterwards, at that time, as you obey the Lord and follow him.
Yeah. Another thing that I didn't spoke on our meeting, just recently we have in one place, one of the village where is one of our disciple working, one of the mosque has closed, and there's a house and there's a mosque. And
Oh, really? It closed.
yes, because the imam who was staying in that place, he passed away, he died, and he has a madrasa in that place. And one of our disciples, it's working in that area, is very close. And many of the people of that area has come to the Lord. So,
Oh my goodness.
so the mosque has closed. Now,
So no more customers.
You're listening to God Network News Podcast with your host, Cal Curtis. Look up our website at godnetworknews.com.
No more customers for him.
now they came to ask our disciple if he can buy that building mosque. So
Wow, that would be great. That's a good way to redeem it for God. Hey,
So,
that's really good.
So we are looking forward to have that
Yes.
small mosque as a church.
Yes, that's wonderful. And you know, why not? That's a good thing. It's just a building, but the good thing is that people will, you know, this happened in other places around the world, except sometimes it was a Christian church before, you know, like in Turkey. The Hagia Sophia was a very big, beautiful church, and from long ago. But then as the Muslims came in and pushed the Christians out, they took it over and turned it into a mosque. And then now, many years later, they one day they were having a Muslim service in that mosque, and a big piece of plaster, you know, the kind of plaster like painting, real thick paint,
Yes.
broke loose from the ceiling, and it fell down on the people. And when they looked up, there was a painting, there was a picture of Jesus.
Oh,
Yes,
sure.
of Jesus and angels around Jesus.
Huh.
And when they saw that, they freaked out, and they could no longer use the place as a mosque, so they turned it into a museum. If you can believe that. And you can go and you can go to Turkey, and you can visit in Istanbul. You can visit
Yes.
that church. You can visit that museum, and you see for yourself the picture on the ceiling.
Okay.
So
Wow.
yeah, maybe God is doing it in reverse now.
Yes. And we are looking forward to buy that house together with the mosque. And they are selling, at least they spoke to our disciples, say that we are actually giving for free, because the price that they are asking, it's very little. Is here it's 25,000, which is less than $400.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
And how many people can that building hold? How many people can you have in there?
In that building, we can have like during this of pandemic time, we can have like 30 to 50 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
There's a house and a land, a lot of fruit trees with fruits, a lot of fruits in the land. So it's a very good place. It's on the main road.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Well, that's another thing for us to pray about. So
Yeah.
are you trying to raise funds for that as well? For that property?
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
looking forward. Yes, we are rising.
It's exciting what the Lord is doing. And that's really interesting how an interesting story, how so many people have come to the Lord and the imam dies and now the church is or the mosque is for sale. That's a great
Yes.
story.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
good.
and we are living all these things, and we are living in time which in our area, it's very sensitive because of terrorism on Cabo Delgado, because we are sharing the border, because most of people, a lot of young people, they have been recruited to join in that side. And
the ISIS, yeah.
Yes, and even some businessmen, they have been supporting those groups. It's very sensitive area, and there's a lot of fear, and there's people watching out everyone. But on the middle of that, God is building his kingdom.
If you enjoyed this episode, please consider donating to help us continue to bring exciting stories fresh from the field. Visit our website at godnetworknews.com and select the PayPal link on the right side of the page, or consider becoming a Patreon partner to receive access to more valuable materials exclusive to our members.